One time, a wise man said, fire all Scrum Masters and your non technical managers who run your IT departments and watch your productivity just boost up. In many cases, all you need is to hire highly experienced technical leads and show trust in them, communicate with them, and share your insights, answer their questions, and provide them with what they need, including but not limited to the budget, time, ad hoc specialist consultants, and coaches who would work for them to improve their non technical skills. The rest, they'll figure it out by themselves. That's going to do it for this episode, or that's going to do it for my company. That's it. That's exactly. No. I just can't believe what I'm reading sometimes. It blows my mind to see where people take this. Traditional management was designed for industries where work is predictable and repeatable and structured in a way that allows managers to oversee and control output through rigid process. However, especially in technical projects, especially software development, it's all highly unpredictable. Oftentimes, it's creative and requires continual learning and adaptation. Traditional management's command and control style slows down all the decision making process. It puts in its own obstacles and discourages innovation, and often results in micromanagement instead of trust based leadership. So, why Scrum? Now, I've heard many people comment about this to me. I've seen people go up in arms about this, but I'm going to say it again. Scrum is an agile delivery framework. I'm going to say it again. Scrum is an agile delivery framework that was introduced to address the inefficiencies of waterfall style project management. So, where long planning phases often led to outdated requirements or a lack of flexibility or frustrated developers, it aimed to bring more collaboration, iterative delivery, and adaptability to changing business needs. The core idea behind all of this was to empower teams, break down silos, and reduce bureaucracy while focusing on delivering working products frequently with good, strong customer feedback. You want to create those feedback loops. Yet, many still assume that Scrum and the Agile Manifesto holistically are the same, but they serve two completely different purposes. The Agile Manifesto is a set of guiding values, I often refer to as guardrails, and principles designed to foster flexibility, collaboration, and responsiveness when you're building a product or service. Scrum, on the other hand, is a framework that attempts to implement Agile principles through structured roles, events, and artifacts that focuses on product or process or service delivery. Okay? While Scrum tried to align with Agile in theory, its real-world implementation often contradicts the core values of the Agile Manifesto. Instead of prioritizing individuals and interactions over processes and tools, many Scrum implementations become so rigid and bureaucratic that they're focusing on enforcement of the rules rather than enabling the teams. This raises the question, if Agile promotes adaptability and self-organization and focuses on initiation, ideation, discovery, delivery, and release, and it promotes the adaptability and self-organization necessary to do it, why is Scrum becoming so prescriptive? I think the answer is we need to look back at what happened in the past to understand why we're doing this going forward. Let's look at extreme programming. So XP is an agile software development methodology that emphasizes technical excellence, continuous feedback, and teamwork. It introduced practices like pair programming, TDD, test-driven design, test-driven development, continuous integration, frequent releases to ensure high-quality software was being built. While Scrum focused more on process and roles, XP focused on engineering practices that enable rapid iteration of code quality. Many teams who are trying to do Scrum unknowingly borrow from XP practices but fail to implement them completely properly. But I got news for you. None of that matters because it's still all focused on delivery. We're still stuck in the delivery realm. So let's go back to what traditional managers do. Unfortunately, in many organizations, Scrum has become nothing more than traditional project management disguised under new terminology. If you come to one of my classes, you'll hear me refer to this as when people start to do Agile for the first time, they start off by doing miniature waterfalls. They're still doing all of the ideation. They're still doing all the discovery. They're still working on delivery. They're still focused on release. They still have to do all those things. It's just they're doing it for a smaller number of features inside of a 2-week time box sprint. It actually makes sense. Instead of empowering teams, many Scrum Masters and managers use daily Scrums as a micromanagement tool, sprint planning as a tool to push developers with tight, unreasonable deadlines without asking the why questions behind the what and clarifying the main goals to achieve, and velocity metrics are a means to pressure developers to do more and not to limit work in progress. The original goal of self-organizing teams has been lost and replaced by rigid processes that feel just like old school management, with new buzzwords and many different meetings with slim to no outcome. There we are. I said the word outcome. There's no outcome because everybody's focused on output. And the reason everybody's focused on output is because we're focused on delivery. This all makes sense when you bring it full circle, right? When you start thinking about it, it all makes sense. What is often practiced under the name of Scrum is in many cases a flawed combination of poorly adapted practices and outdated management habits. Instead of fostering trust and autonomy among developers and builders, many organizations have turned Scrum into a rigid system that prioritizes tracking metrics and producing output over meaningful progress and meaningful outcomes. The original intent of Agile delivery was to encourage adaptability, or I shouldn't say Agile delivery, sorry. The original intent of Agile holistically, that was the word I was looking for, is to encourage adaptability, collaboration, and self-organization. And that all gets lost when the process becomes more about control than empowerment. When you're enabling instead of empowering, you're enabling bad behavior. Take daily scrums, for example. They were meant to help teams align and plan for their day, to get everything done effectively and efficiently. Yet many environments, they become a status report meeting where managers scrutinize progress and pressure the teams to do more faster. This misunderstanding of Agile leads to an obsession with speed and quantity rather than sustainable development and outcome-based delivery. Agile is not about working through arbitrary deadlines or excessive meetings. It's about creating an environment where teams can adapt, innovate, and deliver real value. I think what you need to focus on is the fact that I said about a couple of weeks ago, I said that I would be shot down for sure because I did it in one of my shorts actually on YouTube. I said that Agile has 4 phases. And let me tell you, people lost their minds because I said that ideation and initiation was just as important as discovery, was just as important as delivery, was just as important as release. And without all 4 of those, you don't have an Agile framework to stand on. That's going to do it. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, learn more at AgileDad.com. We would love to hear from you. And as always, I encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care. Bye now.